Hi and welcome to RCKicks. On today's show, well, I've got another build for you, and I'm happy to report I finally got over my horrible cold. Well, I've still got a bit of a thing going on, but the good news is my energy levels have returned back to normal and I'm itching to build another car on the show for you. So in this episode, we're going to start the chassis build of this massive thing, the QuadTrack from Tamiya. That's a Toyota Land Cruiser, which is that kind of comical one that's got the tracks. And the reason for this is I can actually get this all done and I'm not waiting on any parts. And also we may see some snow in the UK in February. So wouldn't it be really nice to have that ready to go so we can take it out and blast it around the snow? Fingers crossed. And it is rather a large box. So let's unpack it, lay it all out, stop waffling on and get on with it. Hit it, Charlie. Well, hold on a minute. I was just unpacking everything and look at the amount of bearings that you need. I just looked up what it would cost to turn all these bushes into bearings. Are you ready for this? There is 66 850s and 32 1150s. So I looked up a set, and the normal set for this kit without the tracks is £34.99. With the 850s that you need for the tracks, that's £70, making this well over £100 worth of bearings. What? Whether it's true, all the things bushes it is then. You could do, not in the mood for a failure, always staring up high. Oh my god, I picked myself off the floor when I looked at that amount of money to put bearings in this kit. So yeah, we're not doing that. We're definitely going bushes with this one. I might change my mind and do the internal bearings for the chassis, but I am definitely not doing them for the tracks. So we crack on. We'll move quickly past that and move on, kicking off on page 4 where we do step 2, which is the diff. So let's get it done. So the first thing we need to do is build up the 2 diffs, but one thing you've definitely got to be careful of, and I've never seen it before in a Tamiya kit, is this. You have diff putty. Now I usually use earwax, sound deadening stuff to put into some of my diffs to lock them up a little bit, but in this kit you actually have it from Tamiya. So you have to do the gear putty. So one to keep an eye out for because it's easily missed. So there you go, you just put in the 6 MA2 screws, pretty straightforward, very easy to build up these. Now we have to drop them into the actual chassis, and this is where all the bearings start. So there you go, that's step 4, all the plastic bearings are in. It's not exactly difficult to be honest, but then you just set those 2 diffs, one at the front, one at the back, and look at how many, oh my gosh. Right, let's keep going. So that's step 5 done. It's pretty straightforward stuff. And then you just slot them all in. I greased them up nicely, as obviously there's going to be a lot more friction because there's no bearings. But it all works pretty much as it should. So not difficult. I'm not sure why a belt wouldn't have been a lot easier. But hey, I guess the motor drives the middle and then that drives out to the out drives at the end. So next we need to put the other side in and then just clamshell it shut, I guess. So let's keep going. Silvercan 540 comes in the kit, but personally I wouldn't be looking to add any more power than that. If anything, I'd be looking to go for a higher turn motor because you'd rather have a small, torquey, smooth pull-away motor in a vehicle like this, like you would a crawler. When building up all this kit, you're probably better off investing in a set of shock pliers. There's lots of tube parts, especially in the tracks, that you've got to hold while you screw into.
I'm way too low on dynamite to take you through the night. Just when I thought I was done, you scream out and beg me to come. I wonder what I am chasing. It's not even fun anymore. I should bail and run through the door, but something's holding me back.
The friction shocks obviously are not that great, so I would definitely be looking at one of my first upgrades to go to some oil shocks, but you definitely want to set them up very soft. As you're going over the terrain, you want it to suck up all the bumps and not just jiggle around, being that it's quite a light and small wheelbase vehicle. Being that this is a track vehicle, you can't really expect wonders from the steering. It's not ever going to have a tight turning circle. You're just going to have to live with it. The tracks have so many bearings in them, I'm not sure if it's a good idea to actually upgrade these to bearings. One, you've got the actual price point issue of having to buy so many, but the other side is, being that the tracks are going to get really dirty, really wet, if you don't clean the bearings out all the time, they're going to start rusting and giving you problems anyway. So being that you got so much friction from the tracks going across the ground anyway, you might be better off just sticking with the bushes that come with the kit. Tracks are going to take you a while to build, and don't forget there is 4 of them, so they can be a little bit repetitive after a while. Best thing to do is put the radio on and drift away as you build up the tracks, as it's not exactly difficult, but it can take quite a while. As this vehicle has tracks at the front, there's going to be lots of vibrations going through the steering, so I would definitely recommend upping the servo that you're going to use in this. You want to have a metal tooth servo and get something that's got a little bit of power behind it. Now the kit might come with an ESC, but I would probably be looking at going more hobby wing crawler. You want to have much more control lower down. You don't want to be shooting off all the time. As it being a tracked vehicle, the sort of torque pull away that you have at the beginning, you want that to be smooth, as well as twinning it with a correct motor. Just think of this as being a real crawler. One thing that can get very tedious is cutting all the tracks off of the spurs. There's a lot of them. Also, you can mix and match how you want your tracks to be. You can have 2 flat and 1 stick up, or you can have more stick ups, or if you're going to be running it on mainly tarmac and things like that, then you can get rid of the stick up links completely. The choice is yours, and it's all written in the manual. So there you go, that's the chassis done, and what a strange looking thing. Very different, but super easy. I didn't have any problems putting this together. It's very entry level, but compared to building other things, yeah, very different. I mean, the closest I've come to this is I did the Avanti Comical, which I think is the same chassis, but once you start messing with these kind of Caterpillar tracks, it all looks very different. It's almost square. But it was a bit of a pleasure. The only thing I would think that you need to be mindful of is obviously the tracks, you've got to put each link in, and you've got to do it 4 times. So I got into a bit of a rhythm of it, and it got quicker. I got much faster. Obviously, you've got to be careful you don't make a mistake, otherwise you've got to backtrack a little bit. But if you make a mistake and put one on the wrong way around, it's not the end of the world to go back and just remove that one. It's not like you have to dismantle all the ones after that or anything like that. It's definitely more crawler-like. Like I said earlier in the video, you want to be looking at putting something that's got a really nice, gentle pull away. So I don't think the silver can motor is really the way to go. You want to get a decent crawler motor, but we'll take it for a drive once I finished it, and we'll see, and then I'll be able to give you a bit more as I haven't driven it yet. So next, what we've got to do is we've got to cut out the body, and I must admit, big fan of the body on this one. The arches are actually cut out, so that makes life even easier. You've just got to do a bit around the front. Also, the body mount holes are already done for you, and it actually does just fit as it is, really. It's only sitting on the top, so you know you could change your bodies quite a lot as well. But I do like that you get the comical driver, and as far as I know, I think this part that I cut off the back goes inside, I think. I'm not sure. I'll have to look in the manual. You do get loads of extra track pieces because you can actually mix and match what you want. You get flat ones and you get paddle ones that stick up. So I went for the middle, which has got like, it's 2 flat, then 1 paddle, 2 flat and 1 paddle, because I'm mainly going to drive it on grass and dirt. But if you're going to drive it on the actual tarmac, then those stick up ones are going to wear off. It is a rubber mount bit, and so it's not going to last very long, and it will just bump around loads. I think getting the suspension right, again, is a good thing to look into, because you want it to be super soft, and you want it to be able to sort of soak up those bumps. And being that it's quite a light kit, that I think if you're going to swap out the suspension, make sure you use lots of thin oil and soft springs, because it's better to be softer when you're driving across the rough stuff. So we're going to paint up the body, got to mask it up, do the comical driver, that'll be fun. And then we've got some stickers. I'm not sure what colour we're going to do, we'll have to wait to find out. In the next episode we'll finish it off and then take it for a drive and see what it's like. Anyway, thanks very much, please like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye bye.